Listen, it is another Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, depending on where you are. I don't know where you guys are, but wherever you are in the world, I need you to chime into the show. Let me know that you're here. And just like this young lady right here, she's ready to go. She loves Kevin. I love Kevin's content too. Kevin's content was made for somebody like me. And we're going to get a chance to talk about some of his latest success, along with Kevin Kolbe's new book. And he actually did this book with Russ Brand, and I got to talk about the co-author as well. There's so many things to talk about today. First thing I want to do is thank you for coming on, whether you are watching this live or in the replay. Your comments and your love for this show makes the difference. So come on in, whether you're watching live or in the replay, and tell me where you're watching from. I really would appreciate that. If you don't know who I am DJ Strick, and I am the host of the Stream Show. Every Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we get a chance to kind of build community together right here on Ecamm Live. So there's so many things that are going on, and just like G. Abbott, just say hello to everybody. Mr. Abbott, thank you for coming through tonight. We really appreciate you doing that. And I also have to get this ready for you guys. You know, we're doing the and they're coming in now. Hello, awesome, good things. Saying greetings is awesome, fun things. Saying greetings as well. You don't have my Zoom open too. So at any point, to be honest with you, Kevin is way cooler than me. If you want to holler at him and say hello to him and talk, guess what? The Zoom link is now in the chat. You can come hang out with us and ask better questions than me to Kevin. You can do that right here on the Zoom. And Jeremy, good to see you tonight, sir. Glad you can hang out with us. So without any further ado, let me go ahead and bring Kevin on so we can talk about what he is doing with this new book, how is this going, and how it can help people just like you. So, Kevin, sir, how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Other than I think I was showing you, I had a run-in with. We were working on our son's wheelchair, so I'm the sitting wounded. I started to say the walking wounded, but let me just be honest, I'm sitting down. So.
You are sitting right now. You are sitting right now. The last time we were on, Kevin, I forget however long it was, just probably 6-7 months ago. We were having issues with your camera, your setup, the internet setup. You look great today.
Thank you.
Like everything is working.
I changed conditioners. I think that was it. It was frizzy and it was.
It was coming through. The frizz from the hair was coming through. I completely get it, man. But all is well. And I also see something I haven't seen before. Is this mic you have in front of you? What are we doing?
Well, you know what we do. We have everything the way we want it, and then we buy something. This is actually, I think it's the Elgato Wave DX.
Okay.
And I saw some reviews. I'm using the low profile arm, and I still love the Rode Pod mic, the first one, but it's heavy. And so it was kind of weighting my arm down. So I saw this, read some reviews, price was great, and thought I'll just try it. I think it sounds good. So you tell me, how's it sound?
I think it sounds great. But I also think that you can have any mic you want to, and it still would sound great over there. So no worries. No worries at all. You know what you're doing. And Jeremy's saying, and the shirt. So your hair is on point and the shirt's on point. Like, people are talking about your attire today. Who knew that the latest author we would talk about your hair and your shirt?
Yeah. I don't think I'm gonna have a book called Fashion Made Easy. It may be like, the shirt is clean, let's just wear it. So, funny story, my wife and I had been married for a while, and I would still do the bachelor wash, where you would throw the shirt back in the dryer with a dryer sheet and get a couple of days out of it. She was like, honey, I can wash that out for you.
Right. We really can just wash it and then put it in the dryer. That works too. I get it. Listen, what we would do with our wives in our lives, right?
Oh man, I tell you, yeah, my beautiful wife is smarter than me and prettier than me and just all around just great person.
Well, I ditto that, and I'm sure that all of the brownie points you get from that will go a long way.
I hope so. I'm going to clip this as soon as it's over and send it.
I know, right? So I do have a question for you really quick. Is that the dynamic mic from
it's
Elgato?
it might be, yeah. It's the Elgato Wave DX is the one it's called, yeah.
Gotcha,
Yeah, it's
gotcha.
like I said, super. I mean, there's nothing to it. I mean, you plug it in and and hit. I'm not processing it, not EQing it at all. It's just me.
I think it sounds great. I think it
Thanks,
sounds
man.
great. And I have my ears in. I'm the whole nine, so I get you 100%. G. Albert says he's still camera shy. G, you were on the show in Zoom not too long ago, so I don't know why you would be camera shy. We got to work on that. He says I'm used to running live streams in the background. Maybe I should start. Yes, you should do whatever you can to start and
Yep.
get in front of the camera. I promise you love that as well. And Kirk Nugent says two of my favorite people, and of course we love Kirk. Kirk, we miss you, brother.
Amazing.
We
Yep.
are coming up soon on our show, so Kirk says let's go, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do exactly what Kirk says, and he's saying hello to the Stream Show family. So thank you, Kirk, for hanging out with us. Kevin, like for people that don't know, you've been
Yeah.
in the media industry for a very long time. Like you're not new
Oh
to
yeah.
the media industry. And
No.
what you've done over the years is just transition to do what everybody has to do, which is go online with your content. We
Yeah.
started talking about streaming platforms earlier, and just chit chatting before the show, and everybody had to go online. Everything is online. You're
Oh yeah.
streaming apps, you're streaming all this stuff. In your transition, what do you think has been the biggest hurdle for you to kind of overcome as you've done traditional media, now doing media online?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, I lived in the world of basically 30-second video. I mean, I was my last job in television, I was a creative director for a Fox station. So like we were kind of the advertising agency for the station. And, we lived in, 10-second and 15-second and 30-second promotions for the station. And everything was just like we could suck the life out of any creative depending on what we were doing, just because we had to make sure it was just right and things like that.
Hmm.
Move over into like basically my core platform is YouTube, and it's like you're not bound by time. I mean, yes, if you do a short, but otherwise you're not bound by time. Perfection, that's just going to slow you down. And then the realization that, oh wow, you're reaching people around the world, and when they comment, and that was the other thing too. I started in radio, and unless somebody called in, you assumed people were listening. But
Right.
now, you can go back and there's people commenting on the video, and you can comment back and forth. And it's just, I think it's just, it really just lit a whole new fire under me for creating. I loved what I did, but oh man, it's just it's so cool. And now the access to everything we have, everything, from cameras to mics to streaming services like Ecamm to anything. It's just like there's no reason somebody couldn't get into this with just what they have and make a huge impact.
That is so true. That is so true. And I know we all kind of talk the same language when it comes to helping people
Mhm.
overcome, the thought of that they need so much.
Yeah.
When you were probably with Fox, I mean, it was probably millions of dollars of equipment
Oh
to
yeah.
do what they just did for live TV or for those 15 seconds, 30-second slots. That now, for hundreds of dollars, you could actually have something similar
Oh yeah.
technology wise for today's time, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember being. I think our station at the time. So the last company I worked at, we had a CBS station, now NBC, and a Fox station. And the CBS station was one of the first TV stations in the country to go high definition. There was, I think, another one maybe out in Seattle somewhere. And so, we have to produce a news open in high definition. So we
Right.
had to hire a crew just to, shoot the anchors. I had to fly to Nashville to have the music scored, and then I had to fly to Dallas just to do the animation. So
Wow.
think about that. We couldn't do any of it in house at all. And now, I use Final Cut, and there's things built into Final Cut that are just as good, and I can shoot 4K on my phone. So it's just think about how that has changed.
Has changed. And you saying high definition, that wasn't 4K.
Oh no, 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 no! It was not 4K at all, at all. No.
Right. And
Yeah.
and times has changed. Times
Oh
just
yeah.
have changed, and now
Yep.
you're at this point to where, before we talk about the book, I want to talk about something that makes me feel good when I talk about Kevin Kolbe. I am like, we're friends on
Yep.
Facebook and through social media.
Yep.
So as you have your, I guess, different goals set up, and you kind of share, hey, I'm at 10,000 subscribers, I'm at 15,000 subscribers. Now I think it's like 20,000 subscribers. Am I right in saying that you've had a recent bump this year in
Yeah.
subscribers to your channel? What do you think your recent success with YouTube is from?
Yeah. And man, I even hate to say this because it sounds it sounds so cocky, but I'm actually just went over 24,000,
Come
and
on, man. That's awesome.
it'll probably be 25,000 in a couple of days. The way it's going.
That's awesome.
Um, I mean, the funny thing is, I was telling somebody the other day. So I started on YouTube in 2017, and I don't I don't ever remember these dates. I always have to go back, but I've done some videos on this, so that's why it's off the top of my head. I started in 2017, and around 2020, I think I had like, I don't know, 400 and something subscribers, and I was just putting a little bit of everything up there, and my channel got audited during a conference, Video Marketing World, and the guys from vidIQ audited it, and they kind of told me what I thought, but it was kind of nice to hear it, live in front of the World Wide Web. And they said, we just don't know have any idea what your channel's about, and that kind of clicked.
Gotcha.
And I decided to get serious about it, and that started the upward path. And then I think it was December of last year, so that'd be what, 23. I hit 10,000 subscribers. So it took a little bit. And then about a month ago, I was at the 1st of August, I was right just at 14,000 subscribers.
Mhm.
And a lot of my content was how to, and I love teaching, but Strict, I just felt like I was just kind of going through the motions. And there's, this is probably a whole nother show, but there's three people over time that had major impact on me. And I've told them all this from something they said.
Okay.
And one of them was a couple of years ago. Actually, I just found the email the other day because I'm going to do a video about it. And they encouraged me to lean into my age
Okay.
and really, really talk to that community. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. And a lot of thought went into this, started doing some research, started doing some brain. And I thought, you know what? There's a community out there, 40 plus, that I'm in that community. And just in case everybody knows or wants to know, I'm 63.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah. 63. Thank you. By the way, thank you for having that reaction. It would have been,
Well,
if you'd have said, oh yeah, you look 63, then
no, no, no.
I'd probably just,
I definitely
yeah,
would not have picked that number
yeah,
of an age,
yeah,
and more importantly, for you still to be driving with this technology the way that you are to, benefit other people. I love it. I love it. Let me
yeah.
not stop the story though.
No, no, that's fine. But I'm going to send you money now for just having that reaction. So, you know, I started looking and I thought there's an audience. Kirk, I owe him money too. Nobody else say no way. I'll be out of money. Um, I just thought, you know what? I've learned so much, and video's been so good to me, and I love teaching and helping. And YouTube, I mean, it's not a young man's game, it's an anybody's game.
Right.
And I know so many people are, put off by age and things like that. They can't do it and stuff like that. And I thought I just need to lean into that and be more me in there and share more stories. And I mean, I'm still proud of the videos I did about Final Cut or live stream or whatever, but I think sharing me so people can go, oh, wow, he kind of looks a little like me, or man, he looks like me, or whatever. And
Right.
and I think it also, I rethought how I was producing to try and not overproduce just to overproduce. I went with more of a simplistic look in thumbnails. I mean, I did a lot of thinking through this, but it wasn't like, okay, I'm going to strategically hit this. It's just like, I'm going to do it. And I'll share one more thing if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
The video I did was that kind of broke it through was something like, if you're over 40, here's why you should start a YouTube channel or something like
I
that.
remember that.
And
That's it.
I thought I was going, I was thinking about doing it that morning. It was a Monday morning. I thought, I'm going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it. No, I probably shouldn't do it. I sat down, I hit record, and I just talked. No notes. I mean, there were kind of thoughts up here,
Right.
and I cut it down. I think the original cut was a little over 30, and I cut just a few things out and just posted it and thought, if I have half a dozen people watch this, I'll be happy, and I had a couple of friends say, oh man, you're probably going to turn people away. You're going to lose people. And I think, right out of the gate, I lost 2 subscribers. And then all of a sudden, bro, it took off. And,
Wow.
and I don't claim a lot of credit on that. I mean, I do think that I was spirit led in that as well, but,
Right.
and so that's what I've just been leaning into. And I'm telling you, yes, the views have been amazing. The subscribers have been amazing, but it's the comments. They are deep. People, yeah, you'll get those, hey, thanks for this video. But then you get deeper and deeper comments, and people are sharing things that have kept them, personal things.
Wow.
And then they're encouraging each other. And I'm like, there's the community that I knew existed, that I wanted to be a part of, that I am a part of. And I'm telling you, now you know as well as I do, it could flatline tomorrow and
Right.
whatever, but it lit a fire under me that I didn't know had to be relit, if that makes sense. I
That's
wasn't
awesome.
burned out, but
Right.
oh man. And now I've got so many dang ideas I can't produce fast enough. But
I
so
love it, man. I love it. So again, to be a fly on the wall or a friend of yours that is watching this happen in real
mhm,
time and watching the videos, because yes, I do follow you on Facebook, but I'm also a
thank you.
subscriber. So I'm seeing
Thank you.
the videos come through and seeing how people have responded to it. I'm like, man, he's hit it. He's done it. Like, I love it. So, I have another friend that, decided to change his content a little bit this year as well, and shot to the moon with his content. And I'm just so excited about that. Number one, I'm excited that for you
Thank
and finding what it is that resonates
mhm.
with yourself and our community with the niche, but more importantly, figuring out what I think it takes some time to figure out, which
Yeah.
is, how can I tell YouTube exactly who I am so they'll
Yeah.
send me to the people that are there? Like you said, you knew that this community was
Yeah.
out there on YouTube, but now you kind of said all of the right things for YouTube to go, oh, you're talking to these
Mm.
people.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
me put
Well,
you over here.
yeah. Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is, I tell people to experiment, to try things,
Right?
that just don't feel like you've got to get stuck in there. And I'm like, well, I probably need to, if I think the advice is good enough to give it,
Right?
then why am I not trying it? And the only thing that was really holding me back was fear. And I'm
Gotcha.
like, there's still a whole world out there that doesn't even know I exist. So, that's fine. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, just going beyond the numbers to know that it resonates. When somebody leaves a comment and says, you know, because of your video, I'm gonna start my channel, or
That's awesome.
because of your video, I did my first video yesterday. And I'm like, that, it makes it
That's
worth doing it.
awesome. That's
So
awesome. That's really, really cool. So, saying that you've had some success, recent success in YouTube and on your channel, it's kind of like, hey, I've been a content creator coach for a while. I'm helping people through this process. I know what I'm doing. And now I'm finding even more success. And here comes this book. So, what's the inspiration
wait a
behind the
minute.
new book?
You mean like this one? Dun 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 dun. I just happen to have a
Exactly.
copy.
I know, right? Just handy, right?
Yeah, what's funny? And so I wrote this book with my buddy Ross Brand, who actually wrote the foreword to my first book, Live
Right.
Streaming Made Easy. And you have to. So here's a power tip for anybody if you write a book, and you really should. And this one is self published, and so was my first one. Is that you can get author copies? So these are on Amazon, but it takes forever. He still does not have his author copies. You can get them for a fraction. I had to buy my own book at full price just to get it in time. So there you go. There's the life of an author. But yeah, that's our new book, and I'm giddy. I'm gonna put this down. I feel
That's
like
awesome. That's awesome. No, no, no. I love it. The inspiration behind it. Like, what's the idea about helping people understand video
yeah.
podcasting and how it could be made easy?
So when I did my first book, Livestream Made Easy, which I'd been wanting to write a book for a while, and that wasn't the one I thought I would write. And by the way, talking about age, I wrote my first book when I was 62. So for
Right.
those of you, just keep it in mind. And it became a bestseller right out of the gate, which again, I can't write a book on how to be a bestseller quickly, made easy, because I still haven't figured that out.
Got you.
It is. But Ross had me on one of his shows. He was doing a live stream, and he says, "Hey, do you think you're going to write another book?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah." And he said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Well, I'm thinking about maybe something about video podcasting." Off air, because Ross and I are friends, he said, "Hey, just throwing out an idea. Would you want to write the book together?" And I thought, "Yeah,
Right.
yeah, absolutely." So
I
that
love
started.
collaborations. That's cool. And
Oh,
Russ is a great guy, by the way.
oh my word, yeah. And so then he had a genius idea, because then we started talking about how we're going to write this, and neither one of us wanted to, okay, well, you write a chapter and I'll write a chapter and we'll compare notes. So we actually recorded the whole book with us talking to each other like it was a video podcast, and then we transcribed that into the book. So the book is actually written as we were doing it, like a conversation back and forth between us, because we thought, and so the first recording was, okay, we'll know whether we're going to do this or not. And after we did the first recording, we're like, okay, this is kind of cool, you know?
I
And
love
so the
it.
whole book, we just talked it out, and then, went through a lot of tweaking back and forth and stuff like that. And even the cover, we designed. I did one rough on it, and it didn't work. And then we would start talking back and forth. So even the book, even the back, we designed that together.
That's
And we
awesome.
came up with everything's in here. Like, I think I wrote the very first part to launch it, and he wrote the very end. So it was a collaboration from the first, hey, do you want to write this together? Splitting everything 50-50. I mean, it's just been amazing.
Man, that's cool. That's the way to do it. I love collaborations. Again, um, Russ is a great guy and has been,
Oh,
building
yeah.
his community for a while. And of course, he knows just as much as all of us about his podcasting and video and streaming and all that other kind of stuff. So, what a great group of guys to get together to write, man. I love that.
Yep. Yep. And we actually got Chris, I'm going to butcher his last name, Crematosis, from he's the guy that started Podfest Expo and VidFest. He wrote
Hmm.
the forward for us. We asked him, he was like, "Yeah, absolutely, love to."
Oh,
And so that was
man.
kind of cool, yeah, to get that endorsement out of the gate.
Right?
But yeah, it's been a ride. I'm telling you, it's been a blast, absolute blast.
So when you're writing something like this, you talked about in your first one streaming. Now we're talking about
Yeah.
video podcasting. Do you think now, Kevin, there's a difference between audio and video podcasting?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Major, major. Because first of all, if you and I do believe, I mean, I know it says made easy, but the goal with both books is that if you've never live streamed, if you've never even podcasted, hopefully you could read this book and go, I know enough that I can start. That's the goal. Or
Gotcha.
maybe you had an audio podcast and you've thought about video, you would know enough to hopefully start. That's honestly, that's the goal. But yeah, there is a lot. Now, I came from a radio background. So when I got into television, in fact, I joke with people, I'm like, oh, it's just like radio with pictures. And if
Right.
you think about it, when you transition into video podcast, I mean, there's still people that will turn on. Buddy of mine was just telling me the other day, he loves listening to a Mike Rose podcast, but he turns it on YouTube, and then he goes about working in his shop. So even though
Gotcha.
there's a visual, he's listening to it.
Right.
But the big takeaway is you have to remember it's visual.
Hmm.
So if we're doing a video podcast and I can't just point to something all the time you can't see. Some point I need to reference it, or I just need to think of that as a way. I think it opens up a whole nother dynamic though, because, you know, you can do a video podcast and you still got the podcast part.
Right.
But if you do the podcast first, then you got to figure out how to add video to
How
it.
to add video
And
to it.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so it's, to me, it's just easier just to turn the camera on and do a video podcast. And then and then you can even turn it to a blog post. So you've got so many pieces of content from just doing that. It could be solo, it could be a show, it could be so many different things.
So I forgot to ask this question earlier. Jeremy put it in the chat. He says you were in radio. Where's the RE20?
The
So
RE20? Is
yeah,
that
the
a kind of mic?
microphone,
Yeah.
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 From,
I don't have it.
yeah, I know, right? From the radio
I have a
days,
family to feed.
it's a very expensive microphone.
Yeah.
I get
Well,
it. I
you know,
get it.
it's a good question though. But the thing is, though, I've never been a guy about you've got to have the most expensive thing to create something at all. I mean, I just don't. You know, I think it lets. In fact, I used to really be against webcams, and now I'm like, look, if that's what it takes to get you to create, use the webcam. 99% of the people out there don't care.
Right.
It's only thus creators that want to know what camera and what mic you're using. And even most clients, they don't care. You know, you may be doing a content or doing a project for them, and a lot of times they want to know the budget, you know, and when and things like that. But I don't do hardly any hands-on production anymore. I just don't. I do more coaching, consulting, and producing for myself. But in all the years, Strick, never, not one time had a client say, "Well, now wait a minute, what camera are you going to use
Right.
for this?" They don't care. They
No,
don't
they
care
don't.
at all. So, and I'm not knocking his question. I'm just saying that a lot of times the people that are wanting to get started get stuck on the gear, and I'm like, you know, this mic I think is $89. I don't know, and it's like it works, it sounds fine, and it looks okay. Let's go.
So, you know, we try to help people, especially beginners, because I, of course, was that guy that know a lot of people that would get all the equipment first,
Yeah.
like no content. And when I started through the pandemic, I had my own personal mindset on all of the streaming thing, because once we got out of the pandemic, guess what? Um, who knew what world we'd be going back to? We could have easily went back to the world that we had started.
Yeah.
In some cases,
Sure.
it wasn't the worst world for me. I actually started doing more things in the pandemic that I do now, and still have to do those things that I was doing before the pandemic. So I'm
Wow.
busier now than I was before the pandemic. Now, I love what I get an opportunity to do, but it is a totally different life and a different lifestyle.
Oh
That
yeah.
being said, I did have to buy some things again, because I
Yeah.
started with cheaper equipment, and I was really trying to be as smart as I could, because I didn't want to get into this nice little basement hobby.
Mm.
And after the pandemic, I have this equipment where I spent so much money, now I'm not using it. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't know that these cameras could be resold for as high as they, go for resale. Who would
Yeah.
know all of those
Yeah.
things? I
Yeah.
was completely green to it all. So I started in small phases, and then I built knowing that, hey, these next things that I purchase, they will be more of an investment for a long-term type
Yeah.
of deal.
Yeah. And I do think, I mean, you know, you can buy too cheap.
You can. You
You
can.
know, you can. I mean, but I think the flip side is I think for too long the narrative has been, you know, if you want to be pro and you want to be all this other stuff, you've got to buy, you know, the $2,300 camera and the $3,500 camera, body only, by the way. Then you'll need a lens, and it's just not true. You have to think about what you're going to do.
You got to
You
think
know,
about what you're going to do. That's true.
yeah, where is it going to be shown and things like that. I mean, if you're producing a documentary and it's going to run on Netflix, they have very specific
That's
things you
true.
have to do. But the
True.
camera I'm shooting this with right now is a discontinued camera, which blows my mind, from Canon. But you know what? It looks great. And you know, so I think you have to decide, you know, what you can afford, what you need it for, what you're going to use with it, and stuff like that. And if you chase the best all the time, then yeah, then you may be in debt, and then you haven't even started, and then it hadn't got you anything.
That is so true. And I want to stop and do this really quick. The stream shed is Brent Collins, and he says, "What's up?" My guy, Brent.
Super cool guy. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thanks for chiming in for us today. And then Jeremy says, "No, go ahead. You can knock me. He can take it. That's what's up." And then Shaka's here as well. Peace to everyone. Thank you for chiming in. Question from G. Albert: do you really get rid of that TR80 trash? I'm not sure what the TR80 is. Remind me what that may be, because I'm not really sure. And there's some things, I don't trash anything, to be honest with you. It just goes into the closet. You
Yep.
just never know. Like, most of the stuff
Oh,
are good. It's just, some things are more beginner than others.
yep.
Nothing in the studio right now is for beginners.
Yeah.
Nothing. I'm sorry. I don't have a beginner studio. I figured out, Kevin, what I wanted to do. And I did what I would call, it's not all professional, but it's right under, what do you call that when it's not professional? Oh, Tandy.
Prosumer.
Yeah, prosumer. That's what I
Yeah.
have.
But
That's
dude,
what I have.
you look good, you sound good. I I don't remember what your first look looked like, but I mean, it's always been like, top shelf, high
Thank you.
class, and
Thank you.
and if I didn't say it, your voice is amazing too. But it's just,
I
so
appreciate it.
you can also do a lot with a little too.
You can
Not
do a
just
lot
use
with a
your phone,
little,
but
but I did
yeah.
start off with recording. I think I was recording with my cell phone.
Mm.
So I didn't live stream. I just recorded, and I think I started recording with my cell phone. And from there, I went to a Canon RS. It's like 3 something. It was more like the DSLR of the M50. And the
Okay.
reason why I went with the DSLR of the M50 is because it had the clean HDMI out,
Yeah.
where the
Yeah.
M50 at the time didn't.
Yeah. It's like an SL3 probably, or something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
SL3. That's
Yep.
what I
I
have.
had
And I
one of
still
those.
have it around
Yep.
here. So, because it's a great camera, you put the Nifty
Yeah.
50 on that,
Oh
and
yeah.
man, you could take some very, very good
Yep.
pictures. Now, I don't have enough space in my studio to have the 50 millimeter lens on in here, but it was a great camera to kind of get me started. And now, we, just like content creators, man, we go to equipment so fast. We go
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
equipment so
Yeah.
fast when it's more about the content, because
Yep.
when you got picked up from your niche, like doing the if you're over 40 videos, you didn't change a piece of equipment at all. I'm assuming,
No.
right?
No, I didn't. And in fact, one of the videos I did one day, I shot on my phone, which I use my phone anyway, but I had talked in one of my videos about just use your phone, and I thought, well, then use my phone. I even did a video once on my iPad to prove a point, because I was talking about a YouTuber who's got, like, I don't know, 15 million subscribers, younger dude. He shoots everything on his iPad, everything on his
Right.
iPad. And I
Awesome.
thought, and so no, I didn't change anything. I've tried to be very careful about definitely doing what I'm saying, that,
Hmm.
you don't have to overproduce and all this other stuff and add all these graphics. We used to call it junking it up in TV. And yeah, I mean, one of my cameras I still absolutely love is an M50 Mark II.
Right.
And I shoot what I have on my desk is a Canon M6 Mark II, and it's mounted to my desk. That way I can just turn it on and start creating. But my M50 Mark II, I use all around the office. It looks great. In fact, the last couple of videos I've shot, you can't see this. There's a window right here, and I just let, as I say, let God light it. And so if you had a map, it'd be right over there. And there's a table. I put the camera there, had the mic on top, and I just used the natural light, and it looked great, I think. And again, it's about sometimes getting it done, getting it out there. The last thing I wanted to do was just try and tell people that, you didn't need a lot of extra stuff. You need to get started, and then all of a sudden, I'm doing 3 camera shoot and tracks and all this other stuff. And not there's anything wrong with that, but that just wasn't visually the message I wanted out there, if that makes
Got you.
sense.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. This makes a lot of sense. You want to talk to your community, and there's a couple of things even in our community. So Matt is saying, "Hey, my old well cams are used to show wide angles," and I think that's a great way to
It's a
use
great
some of the
idea.
old
Yeah.
technology. Um, Nobody is pixel peeping over the headshots. You know,
Yep.
nobody. I mean, it could be anything. Color could be
Yep.
off, and I could. I'm telling you this, but people will differ. But you got your desktop, you got your keyboard in your hands, and then you have something that you're showing.
Yeah.
Oh, the quality, it just doesn't have to. You
Yeah.
know, you don't need a
Yeah.
red camera to do or over
No.
the shoulder shot of your whole setup because the
Yeah.
lighting is going to be off because the lights are coming into that camera, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
did,
would argue that nobody should be going in debt to start being a creator. It's
there
just
you go.
chances are you've already got what you need to start. Make sure you want to do it. Make sure it's something you can commit to, not whether people like it, just whether you can do it and want to do it. And then you can always tweak and change and grow as you go, or you can
Right.
get comfortable with what you have and just let that go.
And let it go and think
Yeah.
about other things because I do believe that, when we get to a certain age, we only have so much capacity, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
To be thoughtful, to be thinking about it, to make plans. And if your plan is always on your equipment, when is it on the main thing, which is the content?
Yeah, yeah.
You
Well, and
know?
I can tell you. I mean, I can't tell you off the top of my head, but I know there's videos that I've spent way too long on that have just been done okay,
Right,
and there's ones that I just kind of did to do, and those have done better. Because it really comes down to who you're talking to and the vibe and stuff like that out there, and not everything has to look like a Mr. Beast video on YouTube. It just doesn't. So you also need to think about who you're talking to and what the message is and things like that, and whether you're cooking or just doing an interview show or something like that. And I would say resist the urge too. I just thought about this. Resist the urge to do something just like other people because you feel like you've got to do it that way.
right.
There is truly nothing new under the sun, but that doesn't mean you have to follow the same way everybody's doing it either.
That's true. True. You definitely want to be thoughtful about your audience through it all. And we're having a conversation. Of course, it's about the book. It's about your recent YouTube success, and there are people all over that love what you bring to our community, Kevin. And this is Kathy Walker that's saying she's enjoying your recent videos and your
Thank you.
audience that you're addressing. So, I mean, that's great. And then G. Albert is asking this, Kevin, have you jumped into AI yet at all?
Okay, so here's the truth. I'm actually AI generated right now. I'm really downstairs watching football. I have, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I actually like AI. I use it for certain things like more ideation than anything.
Hmm.
I do believe that it is too easy to lean into too hard. And my concern is that there are people, and everybody has to make their own decision what works for them. There are too many people letting AI do the work for them. The reality of it is, this is just my take on it, is that AI still needs the human to put out something. AI is not creating anything. You create. So I do use AI. I also think AI has been around a while. Like I edit in Final Cut Pro, and there's things in there that are probably, we call them now AI tools. They weren't called that before, but there's some audio tools I use in there just to kind of isolate my voice and things. I don't EQ it, but I isolate it. So yeah, I do play with that. But I resist AI creating the content for me. I want to do that. I mean, I've run things through AI and give it an idea, and then look at it and go, well, that doesn't sound like me. I wouldn't write it that way, but I've never don't plan on using AI to create my video for me. I have seen some animations that are insane and some videos out there, but I also think then you got to be careful about losing you in there. It's probably a very long answer. I apologize, but ideation for me is the best. I will do that. I'll say, hey, here, I'm doing a video about blah 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 blah. Give me like 10 thumbnail ideas. And sometimes it'll suggest something. I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. So then I do the thumbnail, or it'll give me a title. I'm like, okay, that's not a bad title, and then I may rework it or not. So that's kind of how I use it. I think it's a tool, just like everything else, that you shouldn't be overly dependent on.
I am all over AI, Kevin. I am all over it. I use it on almost a daily basis to kind of help me do what I do. Um, from YouTube titles and descriptions, and like you said, ideas. But I had a recent story, and I said, man, I've got to tell this on a stream show because this is where people miss it. Um, Late night this weekend, after the show with my wife. My wife has performed. She's performed 2 shows, and she had a ball. Audience had a great time, and we're trying to get back to the hotel, right? Well, she uses, I don't know whether it was Apple. We're using the map to get back, telling me where to turn and all this. We were only probably about 10 blocks away. Not that far away. It's just late, all right? And
Yeah.
I have no patience at this point. I want to get back to the hotel and get into bed. Cool. Well, the direction we were going, Kevin, apparently they had a new piece of the road, and there was a tunnel. So we went the way that the map was telling us to go, but when we got into the tunnel, it would tell us to U-turn and to turn around and to go back. So when it told us to go this direction and then automatically U-turn, I'm thinking in my mind, okay, something's wrong with the map. This is not going to work out, because if I turn back around, I'm just going back under this tunnel. My wife is thinking, no, you got to take a U-turn and go back. And because she's following the map. And this is where I think some of us get issues with AI, because if you don't use common sense with your map, you will constantly be going around in a circle. At some point, you got to think, hey, it was sending us through a roundabout, but I'm going through a tunnel and it's telling me to turn around. At some point, you have to stop and say, that map is not working. I got to go down a different road, and maybe it'll give me a different route to go to get to where we needed to be. We were only 10 blocks away. We could have walked where we were trying to go, and a good 5-minute drive turned into a 15-minute drive, and I'm super tired with no patience.
Oh, man.
And I'm saying that to say that, using AI-generated stuff or trying to use that, if you don't have an idea or some understanding about what you're asking, you could really miss it, because sometimes, just like that map was wrong online, AI could be wrong.
Oh, yeah. So when in doubt, basically use your brain.
You got to use it. It's still there. Have some common sense with it all. Equip Institute says AI has existed for 50 years. Don't forget to hit the like. Thank you, Kathy. I do appreciate you saying that. Today, I just switched back to my M50 with a 22. Okay, for a main camera, using my 5D3 with a nifty 50. Okay, so
it's a good setup.
There you go. So there's all kinds of things now. Gretchen is someone that, she's a photographer. She knows cameras, right? She knows what she's doing, and that probably is another reason why she could take that M50 with the 22, because I wouldn't even have known there's a 22, I guess you would say in this case, a prime lens for that she knows and gives her the look that she's looking for. There you go. But I guarantee you, that took some time and also some education and some experience to know that, hey, I can use this combination to give me the look versus this more expensive camera.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And a lot of it is just playing and trying and finding something that works for you, that you can adapt as your style and stuff like that, to make it easier, just all those things you have to go through.
We're talking and talking and talking, Kevin, and this show really would be it could be as easy as us picking up the phone and talking. Like, we got a book.
I love hanging with you, man. Yeah,
man, I love it too, because you're just so much smarter than I am, and I want to learn as much as I can. And this is Brett said he set up his studio back up using his Insta360 Link 4K. There you go. I mean, it's going to look great, because I know Brent knows what he's doing. He's going to make it look cool. And that's how it works. So if people are watching this today, Kevin, and they want more information about how to get the book, like where can they get this book at?
The book, it's available on Amazon. I'll hold it up. It's available on Amazon. Video podcasting made easy. We Ross Brand and I, that my co-author, we decided just to go strictly with Amazon on it. It's available. It is the ebook, paperback, hardback. But you can also go to my website, kevinkolbe.com. There's a link there to that one, the first book, and some other things too. But it's available on Amazon.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. I want people to go out and pick up this book. I have to get my copy, and I'm also going to make my review of the book because I
Please
want
do.
people to know what I think about what Ross and Kevin has done out there with this video podcasting. We talked about the idea for it. We talked about, how you guys have collaborated, even who your forward has been for. If there is, as we get ready to close it, if there is a misstep that most people are making when they're trying to get into video podcasting or even streaming, what do you think it is?
I think one that comes to mind is trying to overdo it out of the gate. Looking at, I mean, it's okay to look at a show that, maybe you watch or listen to and go, wow, I really like that. Like, I'm a fan of Colin Samir.
Gotcha.
But I can't look like them. I don't have a team. So I think, kind of just figuring out what works for you. I mean, I know folks, it's like, well, once I have a studio and I have this and this and this, and it's like, well, why do you even know you need that? So I think it's trying to overcomplicate it before you even know if that's what you want to do, and trying to have everything
Right.
figured out. I think, have kind of a basic roadmap, kind of like you were talking about with the map. I'm going to start this. Here's kind of what here's what I think I'm going to call it. You can always change the name later. Here's what I want it to be about, but then be open to change, or tweak it, or just do a hard stop at some point if it just doesn't work.
Got you. Got you. Point well taken.
Thank you.
For new people trying to get into this. Video podcasting made easy. Ross Brand, Kevin Kolbe can be picked up. Guys, go get the book. And they're number one. Keep them number one for a while. If people want to get in contact with you, because I know you're still doing some consulting and coaching, how can they do that, Kevin?
My website, kevinkolbe.com. There's links on there as well. And you can always check out my videos on YouTube at Kevin Kolbe.
There you go. Well, thank you so very much for being a part of the show. It is always cool catching up with you. So you know how this works. It'll be another 6 months or so, and I'm gonna call you back because something
Do it.
else would have happened. I'm following you on YouTube, so when you hit 25,000 subscribers, I'm celebrating you there.
Thank
And
you.
I'm also subscribed to your channel, so when you drop the next video and you're talking to 40 and up, I'm right there. I'm almost 40. I'm like 30. No, I'm like 29, so I'm not in that group yet.
You'll be there. You'll be there. I was 29 once, actually
Yeah,
twice,
yeah.
but that's
I've
fine.
I've been 29 for about 30 years, so there we go. There we go. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you tonight, and everybody that's watching, even in the replay. Thank you guys for watching to this point, and we appreciate the community that we have. And before I let you go, let me do this really, really quick. Before I let you go, I want to do this because they've made time for us, so I want to make time for them. So give me just 1 second here, Kevin, and I am going to, off the cuff here, which I rarely do.
But that's what's great about live.
It is.
You know?
Let me see. There we go. And you're not Stephanie, so boom, I take that down.
Thank you.
And
I could
boom.
never be Stephanie.
No. There you go. There
Hey,
you go.
hey,
Hey,
hey.
man.
Dude.
Thank you. Hey, I was wrapping up, and
I knew you
we were
were.
saying,
I knew you were landing. I figured if I could just come in and bother you guys for just a second. I didn't want to interrupt your flow. Such a great conversation, you guys, man. So
Good to
awesome.
see you, bro.
Good to see you as well, man. Oh, so excited about all this going on for you, man. Could not happen to a better person. You're so humble too. And that's what,
Very
you know,
humble.
Strick was trying to nail you down to really give you your flowers and you wouldn't let him. But I'm just
No.
saying this to say, man, there's so much that you're doing that it's us as coaches, Strick, you, myself, when you know we're really about helping the community see themselves as being successful in these spaces. And your entire story and trajectory is just such a great example to everyone that is like, I wonder if I should try this. This is how it happens. I mean this quite literally. This is how it happens. And it's not because Kevin's not a genius, because he is. It's not
He
because he
is.
doesn't know the, you know, the rules and the ins and the outs, because he does. But this is, even with all of that, this is still how it happens. You got really clear on
Oh
what your
yeah.
purpose is, who you want to serve. I just wanted to jump on for a few seconds, just celebrate you, man. Celebrate the book. Celebrate the wins. I feel like it's one for the community. And one of the other last pieces I want to say is that one of the things I love about YouTube now, I know it wasn't like this way back in the day, is that we can authentically celebrate one another. Like that
Mhm.
is a real huge thing. I talked to several who, you know, have some real battle stories about not really being celebrated when they had these W's back in the
Mhm.
day. But I am just super excited about all that you got going on, Kevin. I know even I'm behind you. I'm just under 10,000. So I'm listening to your story and I'm like, okay, God, I see what you're doing. I can see the template. And even if it doesn't happen the same way it happens for you,
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna keep on putting out videos. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
continue to gain clarity. I'm gonna fight back that message in my head that says, don't do that video.
Oh
What about
yeah.
Kevin Kolbe? Let me do that video.
Do it.
So I'm
Do it.
inspired, man, and I'm gonna shut up now because you know I can talk.
Bro, I appreciate that, and again, I'm like I'm sandwiched with two great voices. Let me just say that.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, I mean, and I'm not, I don't know if you heard this earlier, but when the morning I recorded that video, I was like, man, I just, in fact, I even think I said to my wife, okay, well, I just shot the video, but I don't know if I'm going to put it up. I mean,
Mm,
because the voice is just like, I don't know, and it's not even about being accepted because at my age, I really don't care anymore. But
I
again,
love that part too.
we do kind of like to be liked too, right? But I
Yeah,
thought,
Right.
just put it up there. That's what I say all the time,
yeah,
and look, and I mean, if anybody doesn't know this, you're looking at three guys of faith right here. We're not
yep,
perfect,
That's right.
absolutely.
but we are Christian dudes, and and it's still like as it's growing, my channel has exploded.
Yeah,
I
Yes.
hate when somebody says you deserve it. No, I don't. But I also think God just don't make it about just the numbers,
yeah,
because
Right.
yeah.
if it's
It's
not
more
touching people
responsibility. Yeah.
and I'm not learning from people too, then it's kind of
Mm,
hollow. So I'm
so true.
telling you, I will get teary sometimes when people are leaving these comments. I'm like,
Wow.
dang,
Yeah,
this
Right.
is wild,
yeah,
So
yeah.
no, it's and look, there's nothing special about me. I do say God made me special, but there's nothing special about me that nobody out there watching this couldn't do this. I
Mm,
mean, I don't care how old you are, I mean, goodness, just try.
just
Just
try.
try.
Yeah,
It's
that's
that trying
good.
thing, Kevin. If you're saying since 2017 you've been trying, the issue is most people try for 2 years, 3 years. Well,
Yeah.
I tried. Well, when you
So
Yep.
good.
try for 5, 6, 7 years, to be honest with you, that's a lot of people's stories with YouTube. It didn't
Hmm.
happen in the first 2, 3 years. It
Hmm.
Yeah.
took a little longer than that. And I do think from what I've been watching recently, once you get to a certain threshold, it kind of multiplies.
It does.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
does.
It can. And I've heard people say, just imagine, if take again the video that I put out there, the over 40, just imagine if I had stopped the video before that.
Oof.
I mean, I could have said, I don't know, I'm just kind of done. I
Oof.
don't want to do this anymore, or whatever. And again, that's not to just knock on what I've done, but here's the other thing that's been crazy. There's people going back and watching
The
my
old stuff.
old videos.
Yeah,
That's
Like,
because
it.
they're relevant
That's
too
it.
to that
yeah, I'm like,
community. It's still
somebody
relevant to that
commented on the
community.
first video I uploaded the other day, and I'm like, I had to think, okay, what was that video even about?
Oh,
you know,
Yeah.
but it's just wild. It's wild. And look, I hope people I hope people see something we do and get bigger than me. I'm okay with that.
Me
Who
too.
cares? I don't care. Who cares?
I
Blow
yeah.
past me. Strick, blow past me. I don't care. I'm cheering
I'm with
everybody
you.
on. Come on. Come on.
I just feel like this is the attitude, and I just feel like, it's rare when you get a chance to. A couple years back at, I don't know if it was Vid Summit or VidCon, I can't remember which one of these things, but Colin Samir, you mentioned them earlier, had a moment like live in the actual summit. I think they crossed 1 million subscribers or something like. The details are fuzzy, but I just feel like there was such an organic. It was clear there was no hatred in the room. No, people just wanted to see them achieve that milestone because of the broader impact that they can now have, the messaging that they can use that platform to share. And that's what it's all about. I could not agree with you more. I have some coaching clients who actually have more subscribers than me. Yes. And I'm excited about that.
Right.
And I don't know how to explain that sometimes, because it's like, shouldn't you have more? But no, I don't care. I'm not concerned. I got to be honest with you. Those who I have been called to reach, I can't ask for that to be increased just because I want a vanity metric.
Yeah.
I'm going to serve these 9,000 the same way I would serve the 200 that I had when I first started out, so I feel like that's the attitude, and I just love the way you shared that. I don't want anybody to miss this thing. This is what it's about. These are the moments that you really got to pause, take a look around, and celebrate. And then set your eyes on that next mountain. I just wanted to come on real quick, and I thank Strick for indulging me, because I watched the entire show sitting right here. I could have jumped on way earlier, but I just couldn't let you guys land without jumping on and saying, Kevin, congrats, man. And I just love that the stream show is a space where we can hear from people like you. You're no stranger, and we can celebrate together. And for those that are watching and you've been longtime supporters of the stream show, or maybe you've been watching the stream show for years, or just this is your first time, this is what this space is all about. We want to help you get across the line. So absolutely amazing.
And we love doing this, and it's I thank you for coming on, Kirk, to be able to share that. We all need that extra little push, I love Kevin, what Kevin brings, and for you to be able to come on and share that as well. I'm sure that's brightening his day. It's one thing to read those comments, but to hear from, people that are inside of the community like us, I know it'll go a long way. And I'm sure he knows it's heartfelt. Like, we're not just saying this to say it because you're a guest, because we've been doing this for a while. The stream show, I don't know, I keep missing. I gotta do the date, but it's like 3 years.
Easily.
Kevin, you were on like the first year. Kirk was on the first year. So this is just one of those spaces that we get an opportunity to kind of collaborate, share, and support one another. And we're going to continue to do that, because I do feel like inside of the Ecamm family, there are people that are brand new. Last year, I met people at the creator camp that hadn't started their own channel, video content. And guess what? Some of those people still haven't done it. So we still have work to do to help them hold their hand through the process to get them going.
That's good.
Yeah.
So
you never know what it's going to be unless you start.
Never know.
It's easy to tell ourselves the stories, those voices and stuff like that. But it's like, I believe everybody has a story. Everybody has a gift. And there's somebody out there that needs to hear it. So don't rob them or yourself. Just put it out there and see what happens.
That's right.
It's an adventure. This is why I love live, because you never know what's going to happen. It's live.
You never
I
know.
was Stephanie for just a minute.
There you go.
You was live. Like, you turned into Stephanie, and then it went away.
It went away. Yeah.
It's so cool. So cool.
All right, guys. Hey, I got people saying they didn't know about the show tonight. They want to watch it in replay. You don't want to miss it. So if you're watching this, please watch all the way through and be inspired by Kevin's story. And go pick up the book all at the same time. Hey, guys, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for coming through, Kirk. Kevin, thank you for your time tonight.
Absolutely.
Man.
Absolutely.
All right. Hey, this is DJ Strick, and I would like to thank you for watching another edition of The Stream Show.